and welcome to Phalanx History. On this episode, we are going to be covering mythology and detailing the Roman goddess of war, Bellona. War has been an unfortunate reality for humanity since the creation of civilizations, and with it being one of the most high-stakes activities humans engage in, it's no wonder that societies around the world have a deity of warfare they patron for success in battle and destruction of their enemies. For early Romans, this deity was Bellona. As time went on, other gods of warfare rose to the forefront, such as Ares, or Mars as he was known by the Romans. Although Bellona's prominence in Roman society decreased over time, expressions of her influence could be seen through art and literature for hundreds of years. As is the case with many ancient deities, Bellona's lore has been pieced together through remnants of oral traditions and artifacts left behind by her followers. Her patrons weren't aristocrats, farmers, or philosophers. They were generals, soldiers, and tacticians. Given the nature of her followers, it's no wonder why her mythology is so sparse and shrouded in mystery. While other gods of the pantheon enjoyed theologians who trafficked in parchment and quill, or tablet and chisel, Bellona's favor only extended to those who trafficked in spear and shield, and to these followers she offered one thing: Roma Invicta, an unconquered Rome. Bellona's name is derived from the Latin word for war, bellum. She is the Roman iteration of the Greek goddess Enya, and her origins are traced back to an Italic tribe known as the Sabine. Her followers were known as the Bellonari, and they were well regarded for their prowess in battle and unyielding fury. On the 24th of March, her followers celebrated the Dies Sanguinis, or Day of Blood, in which they would engage in bloodletting and sacrifice in the hopes that they would curry Bellona's favor. During this holiday, her priests would consume the hallucinogenic plant Bellonaria, which would allow them to have prophetic visions. Although Bellona enjoyed humble beginnings, it was not long until her influence proliferated throughout Rome. When Rome was young, the fledgling city-state saw a number of tribes in the surrounding area join its populace, including a sizable portion of the Sabines. Those who did not join would eventually be consolidated into Rome via conquest. The cultural diffusion would serve as a boon for Bellona's influence, as the Italic tribes placed high societal importance on the martial values. She would see her first temple in Rome dedicated in 296 BCE following the Samnite War by a prominent Sabine descendant, Appius Claudius Caecus. The temple was erected in the Fields of Mars, which carried an extraterritorial status, exempting it from local laws and customs. Because of this, the Field of Mars is where foreign ambassadors not allowed into the city would be housed, and negotiations would occur under Bellona's watchful eye. The Fields of Mars is also where triumphant generals would be received prior to entering the city, so that Bellona could gaze upon their triumphant return. Besides the temple was the Columna Bellica, which represented non-Roman territory. To declare war on a distant state, a javelin was thrown over the column by one of the resident priests, an act no doubt enjoyed by Bellona. The peak of Bellona's influence occurred during the era of her most famous patron, Lucius Cornelius Sulla. Sulla was a famous general and statesman whose ruthlessness and cunning was only exceeded by his ambition. He led countless military campaigns with overwhelming success. His feats during the Jugurthine War or his vanquishing of the Cimbri and Teutone barbarians became widely known, and rumor began to spread that Bellona herself battled alongside Sulla and his men. Through his triumph in the Social War, Sulla cemented himself as the most powerful general in Rome, and shortly thereafter secured the highest political office at the time, Consul of Rome. Sulla's glory was undeniable, but his power was not yet absolute. Rival generals began to test his resolve by openly declaring their defiance. As any true patron of Bellona would, Sulla asserted his dominance unequivocally by sacking Athens and slaughtering his enemies. Taking notice of his ruthlessness and barbarism, the Senate attempted to unseat Sulla. Seeking the counsel of Bellona, she advised Sulla, "March on Rome, glory will be ours." Heeding her advice, Sulla marched on Rome, laying siege to the most powerful city in the world. Recognizing his strength and the inevitability of defeat, the Senate voted and declared Lucius Cornelius Sulla the first lifelong dictator of Rome. Through Bellona's strength, he forever changed the way Rome would be governed. After Sulla's passing, Bellona's influence began to wane. Other Hellenic deities of warfare began to rise to prominence, such as Ares, or Mars as he was known by the Romans. Bellona became associated with Mars, often depicted as a wife, sister, or daughter. Bellona would follow Mars into battle, leading his chariot as they struck down Rome's enemies. Although her golden age had passed, Bellona's mark had been made on history, with temples in France, Germany, Britain, and North Africa. She would be invoked by the Holy Roman Empire during the war against the Turks, 1,000 years after Sulla's passing. She would adorn doorways and triumph arches in Luxembourg Palace and receive a portrait from Rembrandt, and even adorn a victory monument for the First World War. So while she may not be the most well-known Roman deity, she has undoubtedly left her mark on history.